Wow. Gone without a hitch. Off without a hitch. That's what they say.
Are we
Okay.
working?
We're
Is
live.
it
We're
going?
we're up and um great talk. All right. Hey everybody, welcome in to the Spider Y2 Banana podcast. My name is Connor. With me, as always, is Greg. Greg,
Hello.
how's it going?
Going good. Feel
Yeah.
like I just saw you.
Yeah. Big weekend for the two of us, and I guess three. We're gonna be bringing Brent in here in a little bit, but we actually spent the weekend together in Colorado.
It's a bit of a family affair.
Yeah. So my cousin, my oldest cousin, is and her fiance are very good friends with Greg here, and it just so happened that he was important enough to be invited to this wedding, and not only invited, you were kind of the, other than the two getting married, you were the main attraction there, weren't you?
Yep. I guess I was in charge of doing the wedding, so
Yeah. So
I did it.
what was your role? Like the officiator?
I was the officiant, yes.
Okay. Yeah, it
'Cause
was.
they had already eloped.
Correct.
They just wanted a ceremony, a Samarisoni.
Yeah, a
You know.
Marisoni. Yeah. It was. It was a wonderful, a wonderful thing that happened. I was
And
very thankful of.
congratulations to Connor's cousin and cousin-in-law.
Yeah. Don't want to give out any names on the podcast,
Yeah.
but I'm very, very happy.
Caitlin,
for
if you will.
Caitlin, some call her Caitlin.
No, Taitlin.
Oh, Taitlin. You're right. Yeah, Caitlin.
Yeah.
That's not a name. Taitlin. That's a name.
Yeah.
Very happy for the both of them, and we were able to, have a good weekend. Watched a ton of football with you. Watched an F1 race. That was kind of new territory for me. Kind of got into it. You might see me Sunday morning tuning into.
You have 3 seasons of Drive to Survive to watch on Netflix. So
What's it this? Is it in Qatar this week?
yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be getting up early for that. That was actually kind of a lot of fun.
I will see what time the F1 race starts this week.
I'm sure it's like 6 a.m. if it's in Qatar.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah.
8 a.m.
8 a.m. That's not bad.
Not too bad.
Not too bad. Little racing
Right before
the
the
football.
Vikings.
Oh yeah, that'll be good. So yeah, Greg and I had a fun weekend. Brent was also there. Brent's my cousin. My cousin got married, so put those two together. It's his sister. So yeah, really fun weekend. I guess we'll get right into the meat and potatoes of this episode. It was trade deadline in our league, and there were 3 pretty big trades. And I'll start off with the first one that happened very early in the week. It was between Greg and Sean. Greg, I'll let you take over after I say DJ Moore and Elijah Mitchell going to Greg as he sends Chris Godwin over to Sean. What was the thought process there?
So DJ Moore, right? So we thought that it was just going to be him being, pretty much like I already have Christian McCaffrey, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Had no idea Cam Newton was coming back when this trade was happening, which is fine. Cam played well. I think he's going to start. I think Matt Rule's going to end up slinging the ball more to DJ Moore because, they're comfortable with each other. There might be an old spark, some would say. CMC still had 26 points, even though, Cam poached 2 touchdowns, which, I wouldn't say poached. I think it was more or less like, hey, I'm back, kind of one of those things.
Well, he's basically the goal line running back down there.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it makes sense that he'd be given that opportunity.
Yeah, so I think that moving forward, at least from what I've seen, they're gonna try to get Cam back in a throwing shape because realistically, he's really not right now. The post-game presser, they asked him, "Well, Cam, last week, where were you this time?" Because I was eating a bowl of cereal. So,
Yeah.
He was not expecting the call from Matt Rule and the Panthers, but I guess he's ecstatic that he got it. And Elijah Mitchell was looking decent the last few weeks. He didn't do too hot this week. And Chris Godwin was injured. So Sean got injured, Chris Godwin, and I got two players that played still, but wasn't great. In hindsight, I obviously should have started Mark Davis or Mike, whatever his name is.
Mike Davis, yeah.
Mike Davis out of Nolans.
And I'm not sure if you saw this, but Elijah Mitchell...
Mark Ingram, sorry. I should have started Mark Ingram.
Oh, you're good. Elijah Mitchell actually broke his finger, it looks like. Week 11 status unclear. This comes out of nowhere. So it looks like... I'm not sure how that will affect him, because usually running backs can just, like if it's the pointer finger, they just tape them together and just kind of cradle the ball.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to hear any excuses on broken fingers, because Tua Tagovailoa won a game Thursday with a broken finger in his throwing hand. So,
and yeah, let's talk about that for a second. That was an impressive win from the Dolphins, man. Like,
yep.
Did not see that coming. 22-10 was the final score.
Yep.
Jacoby
defense looks like they're back.
Yeah, defense was amazing. Jacoby Brissett started this game, and then Tua finished it out, correct?
Yeah. So Jacoby essentially wasn't getting anywhere, and Flores was like, Tua, can you go in? He's like, Coach, my finger's broke. He's like, all right, go in. So he went in, slung the ball very well. It was crazy, honestly, but the defense had, I think they had a pick six and a few forced fumbles. They were like the top scoring defense this week, other than the Cowboys defense that I played. So,
yeah, 19 fantasy points from the Miami Dolphins defense. That was the highest scoring quote unquote player for the Dolphins, but defense means everything, and holding Lamar Jackson to 10 points is very
their
impressive.
Offense to a total of only 300 yards.
Yeah, wow.
So, fun fact, the only team that Miami hasn't kept to under 400 total yards from scrimmage is the Las Vegas Raiders at the game that I was at. So, pretty crazy.
Sounds like you might just be the bad luck charm.
Yeah, some could say that, but I'm not going to. Why would I say such a thing?
No.
I was rooting for the Raiders Monday, and they did lose, so maybe I am a bad luck charm, but K-State Wildcats have won 4 games straight.
K-State's looking good. Miami's turning it around. I think things are coming up Millhouse for you.
Sure. I sure hope so.
The second trade that was made, I'll move on to this next trade. And this trade happened right before the games, the Monday night game started. And I had sent out a blanket statement. All trades needed to be accepted before the final play ends on Monday night. These two accepted it at about, I'd say 6:05, 6:10 Central Standard Time. I was on my way home from Colorado, so I had to mess with some things because they traded quarterbacks back and forth, and Matt Stafford hadn't played yet, so that left Logan without a starting quarterback. I ended up talking to Greg, and we reversed the trade there for about 2.5, 3 hours, and then put it back once the game was finished. But here was the trade that was made. Logan receives DeAndre Hopkins, Justin Herbert, and Jalen Waddle.
Logan, you're welcome, by the way. I gave you that dub by letting that trade not slide. So yeah.
It's true. It was very nice of you. I'm sure he would have done the same thing.
I'm sure if he wins the league, he'll throw a 20 my way or something, but who knows?
Oh, I'm sure he will. Um,
Yep.
James receives Matthew Stafford, Robbie Anderson, and CeeDee Lamb. James bolstering his wide receiver position perhaps a little bit. Giving away DeAndre Hopkins and Waddle was tough, I'm sure, for him, but Hopkins hadn't produced much this year.
If he comes back, though, he should be back. Like
Yeah.
he's one of those players. His impact is immediately felt
Oh, yeah.
in both the regular football arena and this and fantasy football. So I mean, I like to think that DeAndre Hopkins would, if he comes back for Logan, would be great. And
Oh,
Jalen
yeah.
Waddle's the leading receiver on the Miami Dolphins. Like he has 15 points regardless every week because of his volume. So
I love Waddle's upside rest of season.
Yep.
I think he's going to be absolutely dynamite.
Might even be worth a keep, honestly, where he was drafted.
Where was he drafted?
Sean drafted him before me in like the 4th or 5th round, I think.
7th round. So he'd be kept as a 6th
so
rounder. Yeah, if he
it.
keeps playing like this, if he can get up to maybe like a wide receiver 15, 20, somewhere around there, that might be worth a keep. Definitely.
I've been kind of thinking about who I'm keeping, and I don't know yet, so.
Oh, yeah. Let's let me get through this last trade, and then we can kind of talk about keepers, because that sounds fun.
Yeah.
So James made this trade, right? Immediately turns around, talks to Sean for what Sean described to me, a couple hours they were having this conversation. This didn't get done until the 4th quarter of that game last night. I'll start with James. James got CeeDee Lamb, immediately flips him plus Josh Jacobs plus Mike Williams to Sean. James is receiving Chris Godwin, Chris Carson, and Hunter Renfrow in return. What do you think about this trade? Because I was really surprised to see this come through last night.
I don't know. It feels like I think James got the better end of the deal with I think Godwin obviously is good. I don't really care for Mike Williams. I think he's not great. CeeDee Lamb is going to be crazy for Sean. He was really good, Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really like Hunter Renfrow's okay, I guess, but the Raiders are in kind of a slump, so it's just kind of I'm indifferent towards it, but I like to think that Sean got the better end of the deal with CeeDee Lamb and Josh Jacobs. And James
agree.
did.
I agree with you. I think Sean made out like a bandit in this trade. With how volatile Chris Carson will be for the rest of the season. I mean, is he ever going to get healthy?
And then Chris Godwin's hurt, and then
Godwin's been hobbled. Hunter Renfrow's a decent piece, but giving away CeeDee Lamb and Josh Jacobs, and Mike Williams. I know Mike Williams hasn't been great these last 5 or 6 weeks, but that's still a wide receiver. I guess the third option, but the wide receiver 2 on what you'd think is a really good offensive team. Now Mike Williams, 4.7, 3.9, 7.8, 7.3 in his last 4 games. If you go back to week 4, he had 2. So only 4 boom games and 5 bust games, basically. It's starting to get a little bit difficult to justify starting Mike Williams every week. But I don't think Sean needs Mike Williams to be a starter. I think he just needs him as depth. It's going to bring in... it's going to make his team I think, a lot more top-heavy, but also, like, all of his starters are solid,
Yep.
Okay, so... Yeah, that was... okay, so those were all the trades that happened. Now, Do you want to talk a little bit about keepers? Because I've been thinking about this for a while, and I still don't know where to go.
Yeah, I think for me, it's like you're gonna want to pick, a middle round guy who's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because it's kind of like you're looking for upside going into the next year.
Right.
Like I would kill to have Waddle right now for keeper's sake, just because of how good he's been.
Mm-hmm.
Or somebody like Najee Harris or somebody that was drafted until later, stuff like that. So
Yeah, you're looking for the values, pretty much. When you get down to those lower numbers, like Mike Williams, I think for like a 13th is a great keep. Now, if he keeps playing bad, it won't be.
like
Um,
I'm honestly like I might keep Elijah Moore. Like you
as
know,
a let's see, would that be a
like
waiver pickup? Oh, he was
yeah,
drafted in the ninth, or in
drafted in
the
the
10th.
ninth.
Drafted in the 10th,
Yeah,
so you'd keep
so
him for a ninth.
yeah,
That's still not bad if he produces like he has these last 4 weeks.
yeah.
Um,
So I
wouldn't be a
mean,
bad
like
keep.
yeah. So I don't know. Like I like to think that he's a decent player.
Right.
And
So who's on your big board here as far as your keepers go? I would think McCaffrey would be in consideration, right?
yeah, but I don't know. Like with his injuries and whatnot. Like I think it's going to be really telling what he does the rest of the season for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he's got a tough few games coming up. He plays against Washington, which they are not going to be great because of Chase Young being out. And then the Dolphins' run D is arguably one of the best the on the East Coast. So I don't know. I think it's going to be really telling, even though he's predicted literally 25 points the rest of you know forever. It looks like the rest of the season. But, you know, being out 6 weeks sucks because there's a lot of those games I could have won if he was there. So, even though
Mm-hmm.
he is still running back 25, I don't know if he's worth my first round pick.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. Um, for me, I don't really have a value play besides Kadarius Toney, which I'm still holding out for Kadarius Toney to show what he showed a few weeks ago. But if you look up and
But you
down this
also have to
roster,
think of who else is going to be God, you know? Like,
yeah,
Britt's probably keeping Derrick Henry. Um, those are like different guys, I would think. Logan's probably keeping Nick Chubb or
or
Matt
Eckler.
Stafford or Eckler. Yeah.
I could keep T. Higgins for a fourth, but I don't think that's worth it. It's really either I'm keeping Joe Mixon for a first, or I'm keeping Travis Kelsey for a first, and it'll probably be Kelsey if I'm honest. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see how that goes. If Kadarius, like I said, if Kadarius Toney can, repeat what he did in Week 5 for a couple games down here, I might be keeping him for a 14th rounder. But other than that, I'm losing a first rounder most likely next year.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. It's just like there's a few different guys that I am keeping an eye on, and Elijah Moore is
Elijah Moore wouldn't be a bad one. I don't think. Um, Great young rookie, drafted later, I think, than a lot of people would be drafting him now. So, yeah, keeping him for a ninth when you'd probably have to spend a fifth for him. It is an insane value, but it's still good value, and you'll still get your first 4 picks.
Yep.
And kind of build your team around that. What's going on? What's the advantage of making a cut before having a reciprocating move? I don't know. I'm just shopping. Don't really need him. So, yeah, I mean, who cares? Like, what's like what the like?
For context, Ryan just asked in our chat. I just cut Mike White while we're sitting here on the podcast, and he just asked, "What's the point of doing this if you're not gonna add someone immediately?" And I like to be able to look throughout the week. You know, I don't know. I like to play around on the waiver and everything, and it just kind of makes sense to, I guess, kind of leave it open. So whenever the waivers do go through, I can just pick someone up immediately and don't have to worry about looking at who to drop.
Right. Well, and so I have the chat pulled up so they can see it. So Tyler Johnson got dropped by Sean, and then Greg, and then Ryan says that I made a trade that gave away a guy on IR. So before I could move anyone around, I had to drop a guy since I was over by one bench spot. I'll give that a thumbs up, and that'll be the last thing we say about that. Oh, somebody give him a poopy.
That was me.
That was Greg. All right. So let's move on to matchups.
Sean, if you're watching, I'm sorry for the poop emoji.
I want to go through this quickly. So really just looking at scores and then what the team's record became. You'll be able to see all of the players' scores on your screen right now. So we'll start with game of the week. Everyone thought going in game of the week. The Mixon administration. That's my team. Connor drafts them versus Ridley Me
Crook.
This, which is Didgeridoo Brent. We'll hear from him later in the show. I came out with the win, 100.42 against 90.72.
This was hilarious because you have zero interest in the Chiefs game other than Travis Kelce. Brent
Big Chiefs
has
fan.
a ton of interest in the Chiefs game, and he's actively rooting for the Chiefs and against Kelce, so that was hilarious.
It was a fun dynamic, and it was a fun game to watch. Really, Chiefs pulled away at the end, but good offense. Mahomes is back. Chiefs are back.
Me and my homies.
Me and my homies. Talk some more, you bum. At Greg1027. Oh, jeez.
I'm just responding with poop emojis.
Hey, chill. All right, cool. So we'll move on to Sean's game. Sean, I guess, he's talking a lot of smack in here, but it might be justified. Sean bringing his record.
He's 5-5.
Sean bringing his record back up to 500.
Sean doesn't think the Dolphins can be 500 by Christmas, and frankly, I think he's a bit of a liar.
Okay. Sean won his fantasy matchup, 146.9. Matt with 119.94. Caution Hot Cup drops to 5-5 after that super hot start. Couldn't even do it with Mahomes, giving him 46. Sean, great week, great trades he made. Sean's trending up. Beefy 5-layer trending up.
Ooh.
And Caution Hot Cup trending down. We'll see how this plays out. Those two are pretty close friends, so I know that one was very important to both of them. Now next up, Team Shocker Man taking on Fancy Like Applebee's, which is our good friend Ryan.
Fancy Like Applebee's.
Right, on a date.
On a date night. Yep.
Bourbon Street Steak at the Oreo Shake. That song, man. I'm so glad I don't have cable. So the only times I hear that commercial is in a Buffalo Wild Wings.
What was the commercial we saw this Sunday that was playing constantly?
Oh, I'm trying to remember.
It was bad. It was almost worse than Applebee's.
Whatever it was bad. I remember what you were talking about. Team Shockerman wins 127-115. Great job from Team Shockerman. He ties the leader in the standings. Which we will... You know what? I'll just skip down to him now. This was a big game. Now, Sean and Matt had their game. They're really good friends. These two are brothers. Hooked on a Thielen. That's our boy Isaiah versus Team Goldie Wing. That is our boy Alex.
Yes.
The brothers. Alex pulls it out 96.14 to 94.24. It came down to basically the last drive of the game, waiting for Odell to get targeted again. Hadn't been targeted since the second quarter. He needed, 5.7 from Odell. He got 3.8. Isaiah falls just short. Alex improving to 5-5. Isaiah moving down to 7-3 on the season. And now we'll go to one of the more uneventful games of the weekend. Team F with me, you know I got it. Versus Nuke It, our friend James. F with me, you know I got it, is our friend Andrew. Andrew's phone must have been dead this whole week because he started Kyler Murray again. And it's unfortunate because he had, I feel like he had a chance to win had he started another quarterback. Doesn't matter in the end. James pulls it out 108 to 85.
In the end, it doesn't even matter.
That is a good point. And James moves to 6-4 on the season. He's in prime position to take over a playoff spot, a top seed in the playoffs. Andrew falls to 2-8. His window is closing.
Some say it's already closed.
Some
Their
would
seat's
say
been
that.
given, and he's out of the drive-through.
Some would say that. But we got to be positive. And now to the last game of the week, and this one probably hurt you. I'd say more than me. Suck My Chub, our good friend Logan, takes on and defeats Greg.
WTF? Build a dome over Lambeau. Like, how hard is it?
They are never gonna do that. They love they love their home field advantage.
Oh my God! I love our snow games.
Yeah,
The Super Bowl is gonna be played in Miami every year for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, so
we love our no dome for the snow game there, where it snowed 3 foot in freaking 2 hours before kickoff.
So that's the thing with when Minnesota built that U.S. Bank Stadium.
Oh, you mean the one that collapsed, or the new one, the one that they have now?
U.S. Bank Stadium?
Is that the new one?
Yes.
Okay, what was the one before?
Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome.
RIP.
All right, thanks.
A lot of snow.
I'm glad you brought that up. So
kind of snowy.
Yeah, well, so what I was saying was the Vikings building U.S. Bank Stadium. A big reason they built it, obviously, the dome collapsed. But innovation, right? Just making a newer, brighter stadium.
Yeah, so they could host the X Games there. They have college football there. They have high school football
I'm sure high school state playoffs play there. But so
that'd be dope.
You had to have a dome, basically. Like, you live in Minnesota. Like, how do you not have a dome when you play that far north? I don't get why Green Bay hasn't switched to a dome. I know it's tradition, but at some point, it's 2021. Like, I'm sorry, nobody wants to be freaking cold. Like, nobody wants to sit in the snow and watch a game be 7-3.
So what if I were to tell you that the Minnesota Golden Gophers don't play in a dome and they're in Minneapolis?
Yeah, no, we played at that was our home stadium when we were in between stadiums. When the Metrodome collapsed and before we had built U.S. Bank, we played at University of Minnesota's football field, and it's a nice field, but it is outside, and it freaking sucks, man. Yeah, I don't know why everybody should be rocking a dome. I think. Cool. That was Dome Talk with Greg and Connor.
Hell yeah, brother.
Our next segment I have here is Power Rankings.
Aw, shit.
Now, this is the best part of the show because we get to, go through. We talk a little shit on some of these guys, and really get some juices flowing. We want to get people motivated to compete.
The kids get angry.
Oh, people.
By kids,
Oh gosh.
I mean everyone
Furious.
that listens to our podcast hates these.
I mean, they're
Connor,
just.
it's
Oh, my
easily
gosh.
Connor and I's favorite part of the show.
It is so much fun. I'll let you start it off this time.
All right.
Go number
I
one.
think Hooked on a Thielen is still my number one. Not really much change from last week's power rankings for me, at least in the top 3 or 4, I have Isaiah at 1.
Mhm.
And then, do you have Isaiah 1?
Yep, I have Isaiah 1. My top 3 did not change from last week either.
Yeah, I have Isaiah, Scott,
Mm-hmm. Scott at
and
number
Brent.
2. You have Brent at 3.
Yep.
Even after the demoralizing loss to me, you have Brent at 3.
Yep.
That is just bonkers. Let's argue that for a minute.
Okay.
So, what am I missing here? How is this a top 3 team in our league with Derrick Henry, Calvin Ridley, and Antonio Brown gone for the foreseeable future?
So, let's see. You only beat him by 10 points.
I didn't have a spectacular week. I wouldn't say that was my best week.
Lamar Jackson had to face the toughest defense in all of football. It's not his fault. Whenever he plays any of those other PUD teams in his division, he'll score 30, but not against the Miami Dolphins. By PUD teams, I mean Pittsburgh, who lost to the Ravens. The Dolphins would like to play Pittsburgh sometime in the near future, preferably in the playoffs.
This is a weird soapbox you're standing on here.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Okay.
I believe James said that the Ravens could be beat by anybody.
Yeah.
But didn't Pittsburgh lose to the Ravens?
Fact check that, please. Ravens Steelers. They haven't played yet.
Well, I'm calling it right now. The Ravens are going to beat the Steelers.
Wow.
Minka Fitzpatrick is hurt.
Wow.
They have no defense. Moving on.
That is a big call. Now back to what we were talking about. Why is Brent in your top 3?
Because literally, Lamar Jackson has any other week, but this week you're losing this game. And Las Vegas. Those are the 2. Oh, and the Chargers. But still, you know what I mean. Lamar Jackson is still the team's running back.
Well, yeah. Okay, he has Lamar Jackson. Can he just start Lamar Jackson and leave every other space empty? No, he has to fill each of these positions.
Brent, please, for the love of God, drop Evan Ingram and TJ Hawkinson. Why are they on your team?
TJ Hawkinson?
Yeah.
What are you talking about, dude?
His freaking
tight end
tight
5
end.
in PPR.
Yeah, but he had 0 catches this week. He plays literally anybody else.
Okay. So you're going to tell him to not start TJ Hawkinson this week?
No, because
That's what you
that's
would
like
say.
telling me to not start one of my running backs over, Mark Ingram. But here we are. I'm going to. Okay?
So you're telling me he
Brandon.
needs to drop TJ Hawkinson is what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I had no idea he was doing that well. I just assumed Detroit was not it. I would not start a single team in their offense besides their running back. And apparently TJ Hawkinson is worth a shit because he's the only guy that can catch Jared Goff's shittily thrown balls. So,
Well, not this week.
yep, not this week. They tied. Congratulations, Detroit.
So
You tied with what team, Connor?
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's
all right,
crazy.
well, Okay. That's all fine. I
Any
mean,
other week, you're losing to Brent.
yeah, sure. Okay. I.
Brent's my third
Okay.
spot.
Okay. So his running. We'll talk about this when Brent gets here, I guess. I think you are so incredibly off the mark. It's not even funny. I think this is your worst take you've had on the show.
All right, cool.
And
Well,
I'm willing to stand by it.
I love and support my friend Brent.
It's not
And
about that. He's my cousin. I love Brent, and he's going to be on the show soon.
I'm
just
sure
saying,
you love him. Yeah.
I'm just saying, Jamar Chase, Lamar Jackson,
Yeah.
and everything else. I mean, James Conner is great, right?
Yeah. So why aren't you putting him at 3? Who do you have at 3, Connor?
What do you mean? In our power rankings?
Yeah, because that's where I have Brent.
Okay, I guess we'll move on. I mean, I was just giving a take, but all right.
No.
I have James at 3rd. You know, the guy who's fucking 7-3. Not a guy who's 5-5 who lost Derrick Henry and Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, I have James at 4.
Who, by the way, James made one of the smartest waiver wire pickups in the history of fantasy football. James picked up Darrell Williams, which, as some of you may know, was a former player on, I guess, now called Imagine Being a Ravens fan.
Yep.
You know, the owner of that team was just done with them. You know, he's like, I got plenty. I'll be fine. I'll drop him. I don't remember who you picked up for him. But Darrell Williams popped off for 29.4. You know,
yeah,
James
he would have won my game, but you know, here we are.
Not talking about your game. James did start Darrell Williams, got 29.4. This was against Andrew, who did not set his lineup completely. But, you know, great week from James. And, you know, as much as I hate to admit it, because, you know, James and I will go back and forth all the time, he is a solid playoff team with solid weapons. Now, some of these guys aren't on the team anymore that we're looking at, but I think James is a solid playoff team right now.
Yep.
Who do you have at 4?
James.
Great. You're getting better. You started off rocky, but I have Sean at 4. Can you believe that?
Wow. That's crazy.
I love what Sean has done these past couple weeks, especially this week with all the trades. Let's see, can I pull up his actual team now? Yeah, so I mean, Sean's team
now because of all of the chess pieces he moved.
Right. Because Sean's team is stacked. Jalen Hurts has been quarterback number 4. He has Ezekiel Elliott, DeAndre Swift, and Josh Jacobs as his running back core. He has Michael Pittman, Stephon Diggs, CeeDee Lamb, and Mike Williams as his receiving core. He has Dalton Schultz at tight end. He has kicker number 1, Nick Folk. I mean, his team is insane, and I cannot believe the amount of trades he's pulled off, because at the beginning of the season it did not look good for him. Did not look good. But he's turned this team around, and I think he is a solid playoff team. I think he'll get a top 4 seed once the dust settles. Who did you have at 4? You had James?
Yep.
Okay. Who do you have at 5?
Sean.
Okay. I bumped Logan up to 5, and I had him last week. I think I had him at 10. So this is a 5-team jump that he's making, and I think I've finally just seen the light that his team is insane. Austin Eckler and Nick Chubb. Once Chubb comes back, that'll be really scary. Deebo Samuel and Jalen Waddle. As Greg, you know how high both of us are on Jalen Waddle. He has Kyle Pitts at tight end, who has quietly had a solid season, tight end 6 in PPR. And then he's got Justin Herbert at quarterback down here, and Hopkins filling in once he's healthy. I think Logan's got a really solid team, and he's finally got some depth now.
Agreed.
Sorry, I kind of left that open for you.
You're good.
I
just
left the door
that's
open.
That's pretty much how I feel. Logan's team's very good.
I think he's got a solid team, yeah.
I have him at 6.
Okay, so you have Logan at 6. At 6 for me, I have Matt. And, this has to be, Caution Hot Cup is the name. This has to be the coldest team in fantasy football. Aaron Jones falls to an injury. He'll be out for a couple weeks.
Darrell Henderson might be out, too.
Henderson might be out as well.
Cordero Patterson's almost out, and Dallas Goedert is also almost out.
And then this week, between Cup and Henderson on a bye, as well as Jerry Jeudy, I'm not even sure if Devontae Parker, he's holding down there on IR. Julio on IR.
Julio, yeah.
I'm not sure if he right now can field a healthy roster.
Dude's going to have to go in and do some digging.
Yeah, he's going to have to hit the waiver wire hard. But, I mean, on name recognition alone, Mahomes, Aaron Jones, and Cooper Kupp is a great foundation for your team. He does need Aaron Jones to get back healthy sooner rather than later. Out 1 to 2 weeks with an MCL sprain. As running back 6, Matt's going to be hoping to get him back next week. Ooh, all right. Who do you have at 7?
7, I have Alex.
You have Alex? I have Alex as well at 7. Huh.
Yeah.
So, Alex here. Josh Allen as the quarterback. His running backs are weak. Once Kamara gets back, it'll be a little bit better. He does have one of my favorite. He has a really fun receiver combo with Justin Jefferson and Devontae Smith. Huge fan of both of those guys. Once Claypool
Didn't start
comes back,
Devontae Smith this week, did he?
I don't think he did, but he's definitely going to be starting him next week. That's for sure. Mark Andrews as well, great player. Cole Beasley
has Bryan Edwards.
Alex does.
Yep.
He does. Bryan Edwards could be a sneaky play, with obviously Henry Ruggs not available for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I heard he's kind of locked down right now,
Yeah, definitely.
No ball and chain.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of one. Definitely arrested. No, it's such a sad situation. But
some could say his life's a wreck right now.
All right. Okay. That is some would say that.
Yep.
Alex got 22.9 from Justin Jefferson in that big Viking win.
Big Viking win.
At number 8, this is where I'm getting weird with it because I put myself. I'm back in it, baby.
Oh.
I put myself at 8. Who do you have at 8?
I have Matt at 8.
Okay. So I had Matt at 6. We'll talk about my team here a little bit. I think Joe Mixon.
You are further down than 7 for me. So than 8.
That is fine with me. I'm gonna. Would you mind if I tell you why I think I'm this high? Okay. I think Joe Mixon and Kelsey, this combination of these two, is going to carry me to the end of the season. Joe Mixon already passed his bye. I do have to hurdle Travis Kelsey's bye in week 12, but that's a problem for 2 weeks from now, Connor.
Yep.
Joe Mixon, solid. You hope for more from Amari Cooper. I think last week was was really weird. You got CeeDee Lamb involved early, and then they got up by so much that he just got game scripted out of the game.
Yeah.
I like T. Higgins. He's been a solid floor guy, kind of like a Hunter Renfrow or a Tim Patrick this year. He's a decent wide receiver 2 for me. I also have Allen Robinson down here, who I have eloquently nicknamed Bitch Ass. I've been very upset with him this year.
Yeah.
Had his best game of the year in Week 9, and then gets a little injured, a little banged up. So A-Rob not really a factor. I think the big reason I bumped myself up a couple spots, because I originally had myself 10 before the Elijah Mitchell news, but Jeff Wilson looks to be the RB1 heading into this next week if Elijah Mitchell can't go. So I think getting another solid starting running back is going to be huge for this team. So
Solid running back.
Solid. So yeah,
For this team.
I think my team's solid. I think I'm a playoff team. Here we're going to go to 9, and this is where I have Brent.
Oh, I have Matt at 9.
Okay. Okay.
No, I don't.
I was going to say, I think you just said
Matt's
Matt
at
was
8.
at 8. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, my dyslexia's acting up.
Oh, you're good, man.
I have.
And I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, we're both disabled. You know, you with your carrots and me and my dyslexia. So,
We're both having a real hard time here.
Ryan is at 9, and
Ryan
frankly,
okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Because kept it close with Mr. Shocker Man. Russell Wilson is not going to throw 2 interceptions in a fucking snow game because they have a dome in Seattle. Let's see. Ramondre Stevenson played fantastic. Okay. The dude is a force to be reckoned with.
I mean,
Mike.
Yeah, very impressive. 20 carries for 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, that's very impressive.
Tyreek Hill is still Tyreek Hill.
True. He did not change his name.
Mike Evans, insane. Still,
2 catches,
1 touchdown, 2 catches. Yeah, 1 touchdown, 62 yards.
Bailed out by that touchdown.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Yeah, so that's a bad week disguised as a good week for Mike Evans.
So I like Ryan's team still. I really like Ramondre Stevenson. You'd like to think that Ramondre is the guy from here on out, even if Damian Harris ends up coming back. So
I'm a little iffy on that. I think it's Damian Harris's if he comes back. Because I think he was solid for him. He had looks like 3 games over 100 rushing yards.
Yeah, the Patriots are playing the old school ball whenever Brady first came, where they're just running the shit out of the ball and then passing in need to know basis situations where they're just like, oh yeah, this is where we're making our bread and butter. Because frankly, why not run the ball if you have a man who can do it? It's how it is. That's how it is when you play Retro Bowl, Connor.
You're talking about Ramondre Stevenson? Oh, you pound the rock.
Pound the rock.
You're talking about Ramondre Stevenson, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This was his first time he's really seen extended action back in week 5.
I'm just talking about the Patriots in general. Like, they're pounding the rock when they need to,
Right.
So
back in week 5, 11 carries for 23 yards. He did get a touchdown the next week, but then got a DNP week 7. Then got 8 carries, 10 carries, and then finally 20 carries as the bell cow running back. I do think when Damian Harris comes back, I think Ramondre Stevenson will still get some of the work. I think it'll become more of a running back by committee. like we've gotten used to from the Patriots in the past. Let's see. Where are we at? You just said 10?
Yep.
All right, 10 I had Ryan. You had who?
I had Ryan at 9.
Okay.
10 I have you.
10 you have me. I have Ryan at 10. Okay. We don't have to talk about me again. Let's move on.
I'm at 11.
Oh, I have you at 11 as well.
Wow.
Let's go.
Okay.
Talk about
And
you for a little bit.
Andrew in last. Sure. Yeah.
Big chemtrail guy.
Yeah, big chemtrail guy. What a dork. Biggest dork in all of football, probably. 23 for 37 completions, 292 yards, 1 interception, 2 carries, 8 yards. One of those carries was a fumble.
I mean,
so not a great week for Aaron Rodgers with the home field advantage in Lambeau.
You know, they got the job done. They beat Seattle. They beat the team they were supposed to beat. Hobbled Russell Wilson. I can't really blame Aaron Rodgers for this type of game. You're not going to get a lot of fantasy production out of these snowy games, usually. Yeah. But not getting a touchdown was just unfortunate.
I think I'm a defense whisperer, though. You know, the last few
you
weeks
keep picking good defenses. Carolina with 15 this week.
Yep.
Wasn't quite what Miami ended up getting with 19.
Yep.
But you're not starting Miami against Baltimore usually.
Nope.
You are starting Carolina versus Arizona with Colt McCoy in at quarterback. It was a good play. I mean,
D-hop out.
It was a potential game-winning, defensive selection. Just unfortunate that a combination of your guys not popping off. And
yeah, I think Mark Ingram's starting next week.
Yeah. If Kamara's still out, I think that's a great play.
Might start Elijah Moore next week against Miami.
Yeah.
We've split with the Jets historically every year since I've been alive.
Is Sterling Shepard coming back?
I don't know.
Looks like he was absent at Monday's practice.
I think he's hurt still.
Okay.
So
once he gets back, that'll be a solid addition for you because he was really good at the beginning of the season.
I think Russell Wilson's going to be doing some good dry runs, this next week, talking to himself. He wanted to be mic'd up, before the game, throwing his imaginary ball to his imaginary teammates right after he says grace, going out onto the field. I think he'll be in a better headspace being back in Seattle this week and not in the biggest Wisconsin snowstorm since last winter, the first big freeze, as they call it, in Green Bay. But, yeah. Christian McCaffrey's back.
He's back, and he looked freaking amazing.
And
13 carries for 95 yards, 10 catches on 10 targets, 66 yards.
He's back.
I mean, yeah, he's back, and I think, Cam didn't play a whole lot.
And guess who they play this week?
Oh, gosh. I don't know. Oh, we talked about Washington. Yeah.
Football team. Without Chase Young.
Mm-hmm. That should be interesting. Matt Ioannidis is no Chase Young. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can bring Brent in. He's sitting by. I'm going to drag him in right now. Hi, Brent.
Hello, Brent.
Yes. Hello. How's it going?
Good. You're live.
Yep.
Yeah, we're just kind of doing our thing. We just went through power rankings. Greg and I have very different opinions on your team.
Oh, yeah, I heard.
Oh, you were tuning in. Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, there he is.
Okay.
Oh, hi, Brent.
We gotta get you on sideways somehow.
There we go.
All right.
Oh, I like the hat.
Thanks. Yep.
Back to Super Bowl form, some would say.
Yeah. Chiefs looked really good this week.
Yep.
Oh,
Hopefully we
man.
can keep.
Yeah. I mean, and that's a good Raiders team too, I think. So very impressive win.
Yeah.
So we were, I guess so. Since you heard what we were talking about, I guess you
Brent,
can
whose side are you taking here?
defend yourself a little bit against me if you'd like.
I don't know third, but I don't think I should be eighth.
What?
I
That would say-
I have you at 9, Brent.
Yeah, that's
Dear
even.
God.
Well, to be
I mean,
fair, I beat you. I had to put myself above you.
Yeah, sure. But that's like 1 week. I don't know. I had an off week. I have injured players, sure, but hopefully some will come back. I don't know. Is Derrick Henry coming back?
No, he's done for the season.
That's bad. I should probably drop him. Wait, no. Wait, if I drop him, can I keep him next year?
No. So you would have to, hang on to Derrick Henry if you wanted to keep him.
You gotta
for next
carry
year.
him and his broken leg across the end of the season.
With Calvin Ridley as well. I guess I don't have to. I can only keep one. Anyway, yeah, my team kind of sucks right now, but it's still not that bad.
Well, so I think when you get Antonio Brown and Jamar Chase back, your receivers look good.
Hell yeah, brother. I'm so excited for your receivers. It's going to be good.
And then your running backs are Michael Carter and James Conner, who both look to be the RB1s on their respective teams for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So it's not like, and then Hawkinson, who had a bad week. Greg thinks you should drop him. I would advise you not to.
Fuck
Please
off.
don't.
Okay, here's the thing, Brent. I assumed that he was bad because he plays for the Detroit Lions. Okay?
Yeah, I think he is. He hasn't been great this year, but
He is tight end 5 in PPR. He's been good in fantasy, but not necessarily IRL.
I mean, he had 25 points in the first week, so that's pretty good. And he's had some 3-point weeks.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's tough.
I think he's had more. That week 1 output was more than Kelsey's had this year. 25-7. Yeah, by 0.1, TJ Hawkinson had a higher week than Kelsey. In week 1, both of those games were. Obviously, Kelsey has been a little more steady as a fantasy player than Hawkinson. But I mean, your team's solid. I think just with Derrick Henry and Calvin Ridley pretty much not playing for the rest of the year, it's hard for me to justify you any higher than I have you.
I have more points than anyone else in the league, so you might consider that.
Can you say that again?
I scored more points than anybody in the league.
Is that true? It is true.
You rank me at 9. Yeah, whatever, Connor. I get it.
Well, how many of those? Let's see. How many of those points were Derrick Henry?
Oh my God!
What?
Give it up.
I don't.
Give it up. He deserves a higher ranking. Admit it. Give it up.
I don't understand. What?
Give it up.
Do you realize Derrick Henry isn't coming back for him?
Yeah.
Okay. Just as long as
Do
we
you
both
Michael
realize that's
Carter
happening.
is pretty much. Do you realize Michael Carter is pretty good?
He's pretty good. He's no Derrick Henry. Whatever. We'll move past it. Derrick Henry has 194.3.
Derrick Henry's no Christian McCaffrey. If you just want to make comparisons.
I think okay. I mean, yeah, we can make comparisons all day. Where's I going with this? 194, I think is what I said.
Lamar Jackson is born,
1100.
which is good.
Yeah, I mean Lamar's been fine.
Any other week
QB5
besides two other ones.
Besides two other
And-
ones. That's a good point.
And quarterback 5 wins you this game, Brent. And Connor is still down in the bottom 4.
I don't
Like
know.
God intended.
I don't know. What about any other week from Amari Cooper? Right?
True.
Besides 3 other weeks,
Yeah.
have 38, I get 15, I get 25. I think a lot of things could have gone either way. But in the end, it doesn't really matter. I had to fall to lose it all.
Tried so hard and got so far. In the end, it didn't even matter.
Yes. I
Okay.
think I'll come back. I'm not gonna. I haven't lost it all.
Brent, I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for the team.
Brent, I actively root for you every day of my life. Okay.
Stop.
Me too.
Greg.
Every day.
I'm here for you no matter what. Okay. Don't let this weirdo who's above me and you in this chat currently, who thinks he's all high and mighty because he won one game against a roster without Derrick Henry, and thinks he's just God.
Wait, hold
among
on.
men.
Hold on. Are you saying that him not having Derrick Henry was the reason that I lost?
No, I was saying that you are high and mighty because you beat a man without his Derrick Henry. Would you agree?
Anybody who plays Brent past this week, anybody who plays Brent throughout the season will be playing him without Derrick Henry. Go ahead, Brent.
Didn't have Jamar Chase. He was on a bye week.
It's true. Yep. That's true. I did dodge a bullet there.
He probably could have got 10 points.
Jamar Chase had his worst week in week 9. It was 7.9. Other than that, hasn't been below 13.
Jamar Chase's worst week was this week.
Last week. He was on a bye this week.
Yeah, his worst week was this week because he didn't contribute any points. And Brent can agree with me.
I am so done, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. That is so stupid. Okay.
You think that's stupid?
Yeah, no, you're
Just
right.
You wait when we hear about our NFL 25 under 25.
So Joe Mixon had his worst week of the season this week as well.
Exactly.
Is he droppable? He got no touches. Joe Mixon might be droppable.
I'll pick him up.
Okay. So Brent, so
Daryl, somebody did that. I don't know who did that, but he's an idiot.
All right. So moving on. Brent,
we are laughing.
Brent, I asked you to prepare a few players. I'll explain to the guests, to the listeners now. I told each of these guys and myself, you're starting a team from scratch. You got to pick a quarterback, a running back, and a wide receiver to build around. It is not necessarily fantasy football related, although we can always tie it back to that. I did not have, as Greg posts a GIF in the chat for everybody to see. Okay, I'll give that a thumbs up. I did not specify, and I heard Greg say it a second ago, 25 under 25. I did not specify an age, so I did pick somebody older than 25.
Of course you did.
Well, because I made up the rules. But do you want it to be under 25 years old? Because I can just change the quarterback and be ready.
No, not at all. No.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. So
I just did it because these are guys that I like, that I genuinely would want to start with right now.
Okay.
So have at it. Should we let Brent go first?
I was just gonna say we should let Brent go first. Brent, who are you building your team around? Who's your quarterback?
Probably Mahomes.
Right.
I mean, it was. Yeah, it's hard not to choose Mahomes because, he's still young. He already has a Super Bowl win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, easy guy to build around.
Easy.
Highest paid player in all of the league.
I
would love his contract, frankly.
I'd love to be paid that much. And then, so Brent, who do you have at your running back?
So, originally I had Derrick Henry, but then I'm hurt right now, so not sure if that's the best.
Yeah.
So maybe now, I'm thinking the young guys, they could be really good.
You said Najee Harris?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Dan.
That's a great one. And then who's your wide receiver?
I'm gonna go with Jamar Chase.
Solid pick.
Yeah,
He's been.
depending on how Tyreek Hill's playing.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't want to choose two Chiefs players.
Yeah. So Mahomes, Najee Harris, and Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good team. Very similar to what I had. Greg, would you like to go next, or would you like to go last?
I'll go next, sure.
Okay.
So I think Joey B is my quarterback.
Joe Burrow. Wow.
Joe Burrow. I really like the way he plays. He seems to get the ball to where it needs to be, not to where he wants it to be. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
The way he distributes to everybody, not just Jamar Chase, but, anybody else who's on his offense. Mike Hilton, Trey Hendrickson, all those guys, they're all decent, and they all are, purposeful players in the offense. So I think they help move everybody down. And obviously, whenever he puts Joe Mixon out there, I don't know if I'd build my team around Joe Mixon, but Joe Burrow's pretty good.
Okay.
So
okay, I respect the Joe Burrow pick. I really like him as a player.
Yep.
Who do you have at running back?
I believe Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. One of the greatest Alabama rushers of all time. When he's healthy, is a force to be reckoned with. The Raiders, whenever they can get their own line going, he is one of the best running backs in the league. As we all know, Alabama alumnus, especially running backs, are highly coveted in the league.
Yep.
Najee Harris, Derrick Henry,
yeah.
Josh Jacobs, and I will be bringing another alumnus from Alabama, and that will be Jalen Waddle for my wide receiver.
Wow, okay.
I feel as if he has the skill set, and he, whenever matched up against the right guy, he can burn them to nobody's end. I do believe that he's the better of the duo, him and Devonta Smith. I'm not just saying that because I'm a Dolphins fan, but I feel as if once Devonta Smith got hurt last year, playing in the college, right? He was injured, not Jalen Waddle.
No.
It was the other way around.
I think Waddle was injured.
Yeah, Waddle was injured.
Yeah, because remember that was his first game back, and we put like $10 on him first TD.
And we were so close.
So close.
But besides the point. So Waddle was playing. He probably would have been Heisman winner that year had he kept playing. In other words, it went to his teammate Devonta Smith. Waddle is the perfect specimen to build a wide receiver core around, as the Dolphins are now seeing, because he is quietly became wide receiver one over Albert Wilson and Devonta Parker. So, yeah.
I agree with you. Waddle over Devonta Smith. I'm just so scared about what'll happen to Devonta Smith if he gets injured. He's so small. I think he's 165 pounds, if I remember correctly. He is talented. I'm just really worried about the size. They have him at 170, so 6 foot 170.
He's a baby.
Right, yeah. And Jalen Waddle, 5'10", 182, so a little bit more muscle on him. A little less height, but both really solid players out of Alabama. But yeah, I think I like Waddle a little bit better. I think he's the better route runner. And I think he's in a better spot potentially. I guess that's tough. Tua versus Jalen Hurts. I think I'd rather have Tua as like an actual quarterback.
Yeah,
but it's close.
One of them has a two college national championships. The other one has one, so take that for what you will.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought both of them were on that team.
They were.
Tua has two. Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I was trying to remember how Jalen Hurts got his second,
because Jalen didn't get one because he played for the Oklahoma Sooners.
The Oklahoma Sooners. Ugh. All right, you want to hear mine?
Of course.
So I heard what you guys did, and so I don't want to pick the same guys that you guys picked. So because they were so similar, I had Patrick Mahomes as well. I mean, he has great speed, maybe the strongest arm in the NFL. Very accurate as well, and just all around.
Those baseball genes, bro.
Oh yeah, I mean he's just an athlete, you know, and yeah, he's basically a shortstop playing quarterback. My backup is Kyler Murray. I think he is the kind of quarterback you want in the NFL right now, that dual threat, speed, and the combination of speed and throwing arm. I think Kyler, and this could happen like it happened to Lamar Jackson a couple years ago. People haven't figured out Kyler Murray yet, so that's still something that could end up happening.
Kyler Murray was my initial pick, but I thought I'd jive it up with my pick.
Joey B. I do like Joe Burrow. I like him a lot. At running back, I originally had Najee Harris. For me, it was picking a running back with the least amount of miles on him, because running backs don't usually last more than maybe 5 years.
Which
so I
sucks.
Right. It really, yeah. Because I would have loved to pick like McCaffrey or Derrick Henry or like Dalvin Cook or someone, but I think you're getting, you'll probably get 6 solid years out of Najee before he starts trending down. And he has great hands out of the backfield too. He's a great receiver. My other choice for that is Jonathan Taylor. And that a big thing behind that too was his age. Just 1 year of tread on his tires.
I love Jonathan Taylor.
Me too.
And guy's so good.
He's the workhorse, so
yeah,
you take that. At wide receiver, this one was really difficult for me because I wanted to go Justin Jefferson, but
not a bad pick.
It's not, but I think the best pick was DK Metcalf. And my reasoning behind this is he may be the most amazing physical specimen at the wide receiver position. I'm going to pull that up for the folks watching. 6'4", 235. Probably one of the faster receivers in the league, too. Everybody remembers when he chased down Budda Baker last year to make that tackle. Great closing speed, but great opening speed, too, if that's a saying. But no, great player, great hands. I think he's a better route runner than people give him credit for. And I think, my team would have Mahomes. I think DK Metcalf catching balls from Patrick Mahomes is potentially the coolest thing that I could think of happening. So yeah, I got DK. I think he'd be good. I like Jamar Chase. I think as a deep threat for Patrick Mahomes, he'd be awesome, and that's kind of what you got going on, Brent. So that would be cool. And then Justin Jefferson, his route running's insane. He's got great hands, great speed, but I think DK's body, his strength, and his size is just too hard to ignore,
For sure.
But yeah, okay. So that was a fun little exercise. Greg and I have been trying to do one of these every week, and some of them
change it up.
Right. Some of them, like today, were a little short notice. It was just like, this sounds fun. If you have any suggestions, please leave it in the comments section. We'd love to hear what you guys think. We'd love to hear feedback. I guess, Brent, the last thing we have to talk about is our weekend. If you wanted to kind of talk about the weekend. Your sister got married.
She got married.
Again.
Did, yes. Officially got
This one was the ceremony.
officiated. Greg.
Yeah. We talked about that a little bit ago.
Thank
But
you.
yeah, Greg, we
Thank you.
can't thank you enough. You did a really good job. And you're a great friend to my cousin and Brent's sister. So good on you. We had a lot of fun. We watched a lot of football, watched a little of the F1 race, which was interesting. And just spending time with 25 of my closest family and Greg.
Yep.
So but yeah, great weekend with you guys. I look forward to doing something like that with the two of you again.
Yeah, definitely.
Caitlin and Talon, I think that'd be a lot of fun.
For sure.
I leaked Caitlin's fiance's name, her husband's name. Sorry, guys.
Alone.
But you want to go ahead and wrap it up? Call it a day? Okay. Brent, anything else you wanna add?
Nope.
Okay.
Brent, I think you deserve the 3rd spot in my power rankings.
I think so too.
That's the.
Fuck yeah.
All right,
Spot.
you two go have fun in your own Discord server after this. I'm sure you guys are gonna be, I don't know. You guys are okay. Anyway,
No.
you guys go talk somewhere else about this Brent being in 3rd nonsense. All right. Well, thank you again, Brent, for coming on. For Brent and Greg. Greg,
Yep.
thank you again for doing the podcast with me.
Yes, sir.
My name's Connor. Thank you so much for tuning into the Spider Y2 Banana podcast. We will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
All right, now how do I stop recording?